Hello and welcome to Geometry Check Homework 10.6. We're going to be looking at the theorems, and the first theorem we're going to be looking at is the tangent chord theorem. We know that for the tangent chord theorem, we would use the equation, the measure of the angle equals 1/2 the measure of the arc. And so we would plug in the numbers, 1/2 of 121. And we would get that the measure of angle A would equal then 61. And 61 would be the final answer for that problem. For problem 2, we're looking for the value of x using the chord intersection theorem, which states that the measure of the angle is 1/2 the measure of arc AB plus the measure of arc CD. And so what we'll be looking for that is we will take the two arc angles because we're looking for the measurement, and we would have 143 plus 151. And we would get, and we would take that by 1/2, and we would get that the measure of x plus the measure of x would equal 174. And then for problem number 3, we're going to be using the secant tangent theorem, or the secant with any other like double secants or double tangents. And we're going to know that x is going to equal 1/2 of the measure of the measure of arc AB minus the measure of arc BD. So then x would equal so then the x would equal, the measure of the angle 3 would equal 42, sorry. And you would fill in the equation for it to equal x minus 113, and you would multiply each side by 2, so you would get rid of the 1/2. You would get 84 equals x minus 113, and you would add 113 plus 84, and you would get 197 for x. Then to find the measure of arc A, you would use again the equation, the measure of angle 1 equals 1/2 the measure of AB. And since we already have the measure of angle 1, we need to find the one that can correspond with AB. So we would take 180 minus 112 to get 68 for that. And then we would find the measure of 68 to equal 1/2 of that. And we would times 68 times 2. And we would get a final answer of 136 for the measure of arc A. For problem number 5, we're looking for the value of x. So we would, once again, know we're using the chord intersection theorem. So we would get the measure of angle 1 equals 1/2 of the measure of CD plus the measure of AB. And we would get x plus 113 to equal the measure of angle 1, which in this case is 89. We would then get 177 equals x plus 143 after multiplying the 89 by 2, and we would get subtract that 143 from 178, and we would get x to equal 35. And that would be problem number 5 using the chord intersection theorem. Then for problem number 6, we're looking for the value of x. We would use the equation for the secant tangent equation, which is the measure of the angle equals 1/2 of the measure of the arc AB minus the arc BD. And so we know that the arc in this angle would be PQR and PR. So the measure of 2 equals 1/2 of the measure of arc QR minus R, and the measure of arc PR. So then what we would do is we would get that the measure of 2 would be would be 5x minus 2 minus that would be that, and it would equal the 1 minus, and that would equal 56. And then we take 56 times 2, we would get 112 to equal 4x minus 2. And then we would add 2 to both sides to get 114 equals 4x. And then we would get 4x to equal 28.5 for our final answer. And that concludes Geometry Homework Check 10.6.